This is a First Coast News special report.
We have some breaking news right now. The Jacksonville Sheriff's Office is preparing to give a press conference about a deadly officer-involved shooting that happened last night in downtown Jacksonville. Now, police say a man was holding a knife to the neck of a man, a veteran, in a wheelchair, and refused to drop the knife. It all happened in the urban core just after midnight. This was on downtown State Street. They had to close part of State Street for a couple of hours. We're waiting for JSO to give us an update, but this is the fourth officer-involved shooting for JSO this year. 3 of those officer-involved shootings have been fatal, including this one we're talking about today. But as we're waiting for police to give us an update on this, our Lana Harris this morning talked to that veteran in a wheelchair, and he says, thank goodness police acted because he felt his life was in danger. He said, thank God for the police action. He said that this man that attacked him, he said, was somebody that he had seen about. He felt as if he knew him, and he'd been generally a quiet man, but he said something was up with him yesterday. He was wandering around, threatening people, and then JSO said they got a call about an armed aggravated assault just after midnight last night, and then when an officer got to the scene, witnesses started pointing at the man in the wheelchair, and that man said he's an Army veteran, and then when the officers got there, they saw the victim who had a knife to his throat. He was sort of thrust back into the wheelchair, according to witness accounts, and that's when police say they had to take action, apparently, to save this veteran's life. Now, those are the details that we were given this morning for Good Morning Jacksonville. So as we say, JSO right there on the screen is going to give us some more information in just a couple of minutes. But the victim says the suspect turned toward the officer, and then he was shot, the victim says, 3 times by the officer in the chest. Now, we're told the victim does have some minor injuries to his nose, but his life was spared. JSO says if the officer had not made that decision to shoot, the situation, as you could imagine, could have ended up much worse. Now, we asked the victim if he wanted to talk to us on camera, but he says that he has some family in this area. He didn't want to be identified. He didn't want to scare his family, and so he chose not to go on television this morning. But as you see right now, JSO is about to give us an update, and let's listen in.
My name is TK Waters. I am the Chief of Investigation for the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office. Today, our shooting officer will be Officer T.L. Landreville, ID number 68044. He's been employed with the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office for 16 years. This is his second officer-involved shooting. The suspect in this case is going to be Frankie Feliciano. He's a white male of Hispanic descent, 33 years old. His criminal history includes 8 arrests, 2 which were not local, and 6 were here in Jacksonville. His latest arrest was on February 25th of 2019 for an aggravated battery using a lug wrench. This is the 4th officer-involved shooting in Jacksonville. So on Wednesday, 2/10 of 2019 at 11:23, officers were dispatched to the 700 block of West State Street in reference to an armed aggravated assault. A witness saw the suspect holding the victim at knife point while he was seated in his wheelchair. That witness went to a local store to call 911. Officer Landreville arrived on the scene first, and the witnesses, recognizing the problem, pointed to where the problem was taking place, or where the incident was taking place. Officer Landreville at that point began running toward the location of the incident, recognizing the danger involved. As he got closer, he could see the suspect holding a knife to the victim's neck. Officer Landreville at that point commanded the suspect to drop his knife. When he refused to do so, he was forced to make the quick and decisive decision to use deadly force. Officer Landreville was equipped with a body-worn camera, and as previously stated, he's been placed on administrative leave. So I do want to stress this: officers come to the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office, and they work for the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office, willing every single day to go out and to do the job that's necessary to protect the lives of the citizens of our community. In this situation, this is just a microcosm of what officers face every single day, the men and women of the Sheriff's Office. This decision, though not taken lightly, took place very, very quickly. And that decision helped save a life of one of the members of our community. And with that, I'll take any questions.
What's the next step for the investigation to get the officer? Where does he have to go first?
He's currently on administrative leave. There'll be a state attorney review and an administrative review for this case.
Can the body-worn video legally be released, and if so, when or if will that happen?
The release of any body-worn camera information would have to come after all of the investigative process has taken place.
And is there any indication as to why the suspect was attacking the victim, or did he say anything about why he may have been attacking the victim?
The investigation is active, but we don't have that information right now.
Chief, do we know how many times the officer fired?
He fired 3 shots.
3 shots.
Yes.
And how many times was the suspect hit?
3 times.
3 times.
Yes.
Is there any indication that the suspect was having a medical episode, or perhaps was mentally disturbed or something?
There's, like I said, the investigation is still active. So any information that's leading up to or what could have caused this incident, we're going to try to determine that later. But we don't have that information to say that right now. No.
How long did the whole incident take place between when the officer arrived at the shooting, and then how close were they all together, proximity-wise?
It was very quick. Approximately 35 seconds.
And the suspect had the knife on the man in the wheelchair.
Yes, he did. Like I said, 35 seconds. Now, this is from him getting to the scene, getting out of his car, being pointed to where this is happening, and what he saw when he got to the scene, and when he saw what was happening, he had to make a very quick decision to use that force.
How close were they all together?
They were extremely close.
Chief, do you know if the suspect, had he ever been Baker acted, anything like that?
There were no, we have no information or any Baker Act records for him.
Chief, was this the same officer involved in the Burnell Bing shooting in 2016?
Yes, that's correct.
Do you have any comment on this being?
No, actually, that case was cleared by the state attorney's office. Officer Landerville, from what I can see preliminarily, did everything that he was supposed to have done, and this case right here is the reason why we're here, to save lives of our citizens.
Did the suspect ever motion towards the officer holding the knife, or did it ever appear that he tried to attack the officer?
He was holding the knife on our victim, our disabled victim in the wheelchair. His movements indicated that had Officer Landerville not taken that action, it could have been catastrophic.
Was there any concern, though, that he could have hit the other victim, or the victim in the wheelchair?
No.
All right, thank you, Chief.
Thank you.
I can't hear you. So you've been listening to JSO Chief of Investigation TK Waters talking about the 4th officer-involved shooting for JSO this year, making a point in his words that this is why JSO is there. That's why they're on the streets, is to save lives. He said that the officer, Officer Landerville, who's a 16-year officer of the veteran officer of the force, also his 2nd officer-involved shooting, he had 35 seconds to get to the scene, to watch witnesses point to a disabled man in a wheelchair, and assess what was going on, and then fired 3 shots to kill a suspect who's 33 years old, has had several run-ins with JSO, including a 2019 aggravated battery with a lug wrench February this year. So if you'd like some more information, please continue to watch. Our Alex Ositis is at the press conference, and we'll be gathering more information. We'll have that for you beginning tonight at 5 o'clock on First Coast News, and of course online at firstcoastnews.com. Thanks for joining us.